Hello, everybody. My name is. What do you read? Don't care what my name is. You know, Disney made a lot of successful animated movies. Many of them were pretty cool, and they're still well liked to this day. But there are some, like their sequels, that were so bad that you really wish they were never made. And I'm, of course, talking about the direct-to-video sequels that were made. From 1994 to 2008, Disney made a lot of sequels. Some of them were not bad, like The Lion King 2, but everything else was just terrible. So, that's why I decided to make a top 5 worst Disney sequels. And we're going to start off with number 5. The Little Mermaid 2, Return to the Sea. Okay, so what's wrong with this movie? Well, for one thing, the story's a little too much like the first movie, except they try to make some changes here and there. The comedy in this movie sucked. They actually did try to make it funny, but it wasn't that good. The characters were, bland and boring. You didn't care much about them either. Especially the main characters. I mean, Ariel was a little bit hypocritical. You didn't care about Prince Eric. This guy, didn't care much about him. And Melody, I didn't mind, the Melody at first, but after a while, yeah, kind of lose interest in her. But I think the biggest problem was Morgana, the main villain and the sister of Ursula. Man, she was not that cool a villain. I mean, Ursula was awesome. She was evil. You could tell she was a great villain. Her sister, though, she sucked a lot, especially her henchmen. I did not like them at all, and I did not like Morgana either. I was hoping that she would end up being killed, but instead, she ended up being frozen. So, thanks a lot. So yeah, I mean, despite the rating this movie got, a little better than the ones that are on my list, it still did not help this movie at all. Number 4, Pocahontas 2, Journey to the New World. First of all, I have a problem with this title. Journey to the New World. America is the new world in this movie, okay? But I guess to Pocahontas, it's her going to England, which was the old world, not the new world. I don't get that. Secondly, the story in this. Pocahontas goes to the old world to try to make peace between her people and the people in England. And of course, it doesn't work out well because we already know in history what happens. But in this movie, it's forgettable. You don't actually care about what happens. And it's true. I mean, this story is forgettable. You don't remember it. You won't even remember it in a day or maybe even a few hours. And that sucked, especially, when Pocahontas doesn't end up with John Smith. Yeah, he shows up in the movie, but he doesn't end up with Pocahontas. No, I mean, after she, told her father she loves him, stops the execution, and how John Smith even saved her father from getting shot at. I mean, and yeah, there's no love between these two, especially when she ends up with another guy. So, thanks a lot, Disney. You kind of ruined a good thing you had going there. Did I also mention they brought in the same villain from the first one? Yeah, they did. They brought in the villain from the first movie, and he sucked. I mean, the first one he was okay, but this one, oh, he's forgettable too. Just like those annoying animals that Pocahontas brought. They were annoying, and you just want to shut up the movie when they appear, and I did not like them at all. So I did not mind the first Pocahontas movie, but this one, I think they kind of ruined what they had going there. And the idea of a sequel that they had for this movie, I thought it was going to be her with John Smith. But nope, they decided to go with a different route, and they pretty much just kind of ruined a lot of people who were fans of this movie and had hoped that John Smith and Pocahontas would be together. So thanks a lot, guys. Number 3, let's see, Kronk's New Groove. I don't even remember putting this on my list, but I guess it is. Okay, so this is the sequel to The Emperor's New Groove, which I liked. It was funny. They broke the fourth wall, and it was very entertaining. The sequel, though, was not good. Like Pocahontas 2, the story was very forgettable, but you still remember some parts of it. So it focuses on Kronk, who I did not mind in the first movie. He was funny, and I liked him. But in this one, he is not that funny at all. So in this movie, he is trying to impress his father by having a big fancy house, trying to be rich, and trying to have a family, which he had to lie to his dad about. And it's a typical movie where the father finds out, but he'll still love his son, and it all ends well. So yeah, that's the problem. And the comedy in this movie sucked. The characters were not as good as like from the first movie, and even the villain in this movie was not that good. I mean, they brought in the same cat lady from the first one for this one, just for the first part, I think, and that's it. Yeah, it's forgettable. I did not care much for her in that movie. In the first one, yeah, because she was funny with Kronk, but this one, not so much. I really had hoped they made some changes for this one, but yeah. It sucked, and guess what percent they got for this movie? 0% in the Rotten Tomatoes. So, that's bad. But it's not my number one list, and I'll get to why that is in a bit. Number 2 is Mulan 2. Yeah, like that? I hope you did. Okay, so, hold on. Yeah. So this movie is the sequel to the first Mulan movie, and I didn't mind the first Mulan movie. I think it was okay. It was a lot different from the other Disney movies they had made, and and they were very successful in the box office. The problem with the sequel, though, is everything: the characters, the story, and just pretty much how it all ended. But it's not my number one list, and I'll get to why. Okay, so it focuses on Mulan and her fiance traveling to another kingdom in China with the daughters of the emperor to try to form an alliance between his kingdom and this other kingdom they're going to, so they can stop the Mongol invasion. Yeah, because history has shown that worked out perfectly. China were able to defeat the Mongols and they did not get taken over. No, that never happened. When Disney, that never happened. Oh boy. So yeah, the idea was not bad, but there was no villains in this movie, which sucked. But even though the first one, the villain wasn't that good at all, and they tried to, I mean, three daughters and the three guys from the first movie that became Mulan's friends, you knew there was gonna be something between those three. So yeah. In this movie, also the dragon's trying to break up Mulan and her fiance because he doesn't want to lose his position as guardian. And that's kind of a dick. You hate him automatically. And no. Let me rephrase that. You already hate him when the movie begins because he was already being a dick towards all his spirits, bossing them around. And you don't even care if he gets back his position or not. You really don't. You're really hoping, deep down, you're hoping he loses his position. And he's trying to break up Mulan, her fiance, who I don't see much chemistry between these two. In the first one, you don't see it. This one, yeah, don't see it either. And, just everything else, just the travel between what's going on with all of them is so boring and bland, you don't care about it at all. Now, there's a reason it's not my number one list, and here's the reason why. There was actually one good scene that I was very surprised at, and it's when the fiance actually died. And the reason I did that was because they were on a bridge, and it broke, and Mulan's trying to hold him on, trying to keep him from falling. And he knew that she's not going to hold him for long, so he lets go and she dies. And they made it so dramatic, that scene. And I'm thinking, holy shit, that was actually pretty good. That was actually a pretty good scene. Now, granted, he's going to live, but still, that was actually very surprising of Disney to do that. In a direct-to-video. Yeah, it was very surprising. So yeah, in the end, he does survive. He ends up with Mulan. They are able to find a way to get this alliance with the other kingdom without anyone getting married, and the stupid dragon keeps his job. Yeah, very stupid. But that scene with the bridge, that was the only reason it didn't make my number one list. We now get to my number one that really started the whole direct-to-video thing. And it was bad. Return of Jafar, or as I guess a lot of people would call it, Aladdin 2. So, this is a sequel to the first Aladdin movie, and I did not love this movie. I did not like it like the first movie, and there were so many problems with this movie. I mean, no Robin Williams, first of all. He and Disney had a bit of a falling out, so he could not be in this movie. So they had to replace him with the same actor who voiced, the Homer from The Simpsons, which was not good at all. I mean, I know he was trying, but it just didn't work. They also brought in another guy named Abi Small, who was voiced by the same guy from Seinfeld who played George. And oh, he was annoying, but not as much as Iago. I did not like the parrot. He was so annoying. I hated this bird. The voice. I mean, I don't mind the actor who voices him, but it was just too much. Yeah, that was terrible. And I, oh, God. Okay, so what's the story about? So Jafar returns, obviously. Iago, he escapes the lamp, decides he's not going to work with Jafar, tries to go back to Agrabah to try to get back on the good side of the heroes of Aladdin and Jasmine and the others. He does succeed when he gets when Aladdin and Jasmine had a bit of an argument, and he gets them to back it together, and he does get back on their good terms, but he is confronted by Jafar, who escaped thanks to Abi Small, and he has to work with Jafar, who's plotting to kill Aladdin. So, okay, that idea is not bad, but the problem is the animation for this movie was not good. The rest of the story was bad, especially when Jafar was fighting against, Genie. I mean, in the first movie, he was cool. He was such a cool villain. This one, not so much. You really don't care about him at all, especially Aladdin and Jasmine. In the first movie, there was something there. This one, not so much. There was no kind of chemistry. There was no kind of romance. In the first movie, they were already married. In this one, they're not even married. We have to wait one more sequel for that to happen. But yeah, they're not together. It sucked. And just everything else about the story just went bad. There was one thing I did like about it was, Jafar being killed, but everything else, it just could not help save this movie. So that's why it's in my number one list. And it was the reason, it started the whole direct-to-video thing. So thank you, Jafar. Thank you, Aladdin. Thank you, guys, for starting the whole horrible sequels. Thanks, guys. We appreciate it. If you guys have a different opinion about these sequels, leave some comments below. Let me know what you think. And if you guys have a different opinion about them, or if you think there's a different movie out there that was terrible and it should have made this list, leave some comments below. Let me know what you think. Take care, and see you next time. I'll give you more love, more entertainment, and probably next week will be something Disney related. So we'll see what happens. Ugh.